We get back here from the region quarterfinals from Bristol.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Scoreless through the top of the first inning back here at Boyce Cox Field as the Cats get set to grab the bat and come up to the plate, as it'll be Medley, Dixon, and Griffith. Again, a .311 batting average as a team this year, and Bobby Medley's had a good year, .293 hitter, leads the team in RBIs, also up there in the batting average ranks among this team. And then you got Jordan Dixon, of course, had a good year. He's hitting .315 through the regular season before we got into postseason play. And then Zach Griffith, the number 3 hitter in this order for the Cats, hitting .280 on the year. So three good guys in the order. And then you get to the cleanup spot, and that's when it really gets fun. Justin Lewis hitting .364. But like I said, .500 with runners in scoring position, and they'll go against Mackenzie Sproles.
And that's an impressive stat. And I talked about it last time. He just seems like one of those kids that it doesn't bother him to have 2 strikes. His swing doesn't change. He doesn't get nervous. 2 strikes. He's comfortable with the 0-2 count, 1-2 count, 3-2 count. He works the count. He's comfortable with 2 strikes. A lot of kids don't like getting to that second strike, and a lot of times you see kids be aggressive and go for pitches that are not their pitches, but he'll just wait and be patient.
A very calm hitter at the plate, and we've seen that time and time again out of Lewis over the year as we get set here for the Cats in the bottom of the first. Still scoreless if you're just tuning in. Ridgeview got a leadoff single, but then a strike him out, throw him out double play helped quicken the inning. Ground ball hit towards short. Bradley charging. Short arms it over, and a good stretch by Lewis retires Medley, or by Counts retires Medley, and it goes 6-3. It was Mullins fielding that over his short. It goes 6-3. Now Jordan Dixon will come to the plate for the Cats, starting in left field this afternoon. Last time we saw Jordan, he was on the bump for the majority of the game there in the championship against Lebanon. He went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, and struck out 4. This one, he shows bunt, pulls back as it misses away, 1-0.
Which is, that's an impressive start, but wasn't what we normally see out there all season, and just at times it seemed a little bit uncomfortable.
A little
with
erratic,
runners on.
Yeah, not really smooth as usual. That one misses up. 2-0 to Jordan. Griffith on deck, Lewis in the hole. If you're just tuning in, it's the region quarterfinals from 2D. Cats versus the Wolfpack, number 1 seed versus 4. Here's the 2-0. This one inside backed. Dixon off the plate, 3-0.
And if you're Ridgeview right here, these are things that you can't do. You can't walk guys, can't put guys on, make them swing the bat, make them put the ball in play, let your defense make plays behind you.
Especially in postseason play, you can't give away freebies, and that's what happens here. Dixon walks on 4 pitches, and he's over at first base for Zach Griffith.
And we've been aggressive on the base path for the past few weeks. So let's see. It's going to be 1 or 2 pitches they're going to be sending Dixon here in a few minutes.
It's a 10th walk of Dixon this year. He's only struck out 6 times as he's over at first base, being held on by Counts. As now Zach Griffith. It's a righty-righty matchup as Sproles comes set from the stretch, checks back, now fires. A fastball knee high, catches the zone, and it's 0-1 to Griffith.
Hopefully you worked on your home run call because, Zach had a big –
we got it out there, we had a pretty good one. We better be ready. Again, he hit the home run down the left field line over that at work sign down the line in left. I think that ball's still going somewhere. Might have hit Mars by now. Runner goes. This one misses down and away. A perfect pitch to run on. There won't be a throw. Had a breaking pitch down and away that Blankenship had to go to a knee to field, and it was just a perfect time to go.
But again, it just you kind of wonder Ridgeview. For the past few games, we've been very aggressive. Again, why don't they just throw to first base to try to slow us down a little bit.
Ground ball down the line, foul right down the third base side. And that was Dixon's 6th stolen base of the year, out of 7, I believe. This Bearcat team steals at about a 90% success rate.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you scout your opponent, I mean, if you just, as a pitcher, if you just throw over there a few times, it's going to slow us up a little bit. We're still going to go, but it will kind of slow us up a little bit, and we won't get that lead. You never know. You might pick a couple kids off.
Yeah, Lewis on deck for the Cats. That one misses high, 2-2. Now to Zach Griffith as Dixon over at second. Have a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the first of a scoreless ball game. 1 down, Medley grounded out to open the inning. Sproles checks, now fires. This one reached out and got a piece as it fouled it back. Still 2-2 to Griffith. Just sort of a wasted that pitch away there. Not a lot you could do with that one.
Now, we'll say this. Ridgeview, second baseman, is holding Dixon on there, trying to hold him close. So if Zach can put one over there in second base, most likely we get a run here.
Dixon getting a pretty big lead to be held on as this breaking pitch stays high, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes to the pitcher of the Cats, Zach Griffith.
I mean, there's a huge hole between center field and right field right now.
And where the Sykes is holding him on at second, there's a hole. This one's
that should drop down.
Bang through to center, and it'll hold the runner over at third as they'll go first to third on the single for Zach Griffith. And now Justin Lewis with the runners in scoring position coming to the plate. First and third as Griffith comes through with the first hit of the afternoon for the Cats.
If you're Ridgeview, this is not what you want. It's not the start that you wanted.
You had the right, they got the single to open the ball game, and then ever since then it's been the Bearcats trying to steal away the momentum.
Get the strikeout, throw them out.
So first and third, Cats wearing their all white this afternoon as Lewis is at the plate, the lefty. Again, hitting .500 with runners in scoring position, and that's where he's at here. Tyler Anderson on deck, the DH. Here's a pitch. This one he had to dance out of the way of. It almost hit him. It's 1-0.
I'll say on this next pitch, run at first is going.
Yeah, Coach Daniels never afraid to run. He's 48 of 53 this year, so make it 49 of 54 this year after the last stolen base. The 1-0, and the runner does go. This one's lifted into left center.
That's in there.
Counts giving chase, won't get it. One run's going to score, rounding second. Heading to third is Griffith, or actually Clifton running for Griffith. And taking the extra bag is Lewis on the single, and it's an RBI single for the Cats to make it 1-0.
And those are the hits that I'm talking about. Like, those are 2 gappers right there. You kind of want to get a feel for that. You can see the center fielder didn't have it. Be aggressive there. I know Justin got the second. Be thinking double from the get-go on that one. I know he can't pass up the runner, but.
Lewis out at second base. It's 1-0 Cats as Anderson flies one down the right field line. Counts going over in foul territory, and he ran out of room right there near the bullpen area. 0-1 the count to Anderson. And Tyler has had a good year as well, hitting .292. 48 plate appearances. Leads the team. He's tied for the team lead in doubles with 4 on the year.
Get one right here.
Get one here, yeah.
Score 2 runs.
I think a single maybe could do it here with Lewis. He's very aggressive. Wouldn't see it. You wouldn't imagine it, but Lewis not afraid to try to stretch some things on the base paths. The 0-1 as Sproles comes set this one up and in, 1-1.
I mean, like I said again, if you're Ridgeview right now, this is the situation you didn't want you don't want to be in right now. Runners on second and third. We already have 1 run, only 1 out right now. Big hit, put you down 3-0.
Pitcher comes set. This one right down the middle, off speed, but waved through by Anderson. It's 1-2. Good swing and a miss there, and a good pitch by Sproles to mix it up here. Trying to limit the damage here in the first as it's 1-0 Cats. Runners at second and third with 1 out.
Just got to make good contact right here. Put the ball in play, put it on the ground somewhere, and get another run.
1-2 on the way, up and away. 2-2. Nolan Haas on deck, Jared Mouse in the hole. Again, this is a Bearcat team that's red hot. 14 of the last 16 games they've won, and 2-0 this year, or actually 3-0. 3-1 against Mountain 7 teams if you count Abingdon. Here's the 2-2. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tried to go outside there, but left it just a bit off the plate. Not close enough to want to offer. And this is a game that's kind of hung in the minds of the Bearcats, the guys from last year, because this was the region quarterfinal. They lost in it last year to John Battle after a good season. 3-2 popped up down the left field line. O'Quinn, the third baseman, coming over near the warning track, and he'll straddle it but miss the ball as it tipped off the top of his glove trying to get his footing there, and just kind of lost it when he looked back down at where he was. And the count will stay full to Anderson, so the Cats dodge a bullet here as Anderson gets second life.
I was about to say he didn't look comfortable right there underneath that pop-up. I mean, you can just kind of tell with these kids. Their feet are not set, and they're kind of like, kind of looking back and forth. Kind of tell they're not comfortable making that play, and that you don't want to give us an extra out right now.
An overcast day in Bristol. It's humid, but still pretty hot. But it's overcast as clouds cover the ballpark. This one misses up and in, ball 4. So 2 walks this inning and 2 hits so far for the Cats, and the bases are loaded for Nolan Haas.
And see, if you're Ridgeview right now, it's 1-0. Should have 2 outs with possibly, get the third out, and and you get out of that, and you'll be confident. You get out of just giving up 1 run, but right now still 1 out, bases loaded. A big hit right here puts you down, 3-0, 4-0.
Haas, a .375 hitter with runners in scoring position. As the bases are loaded, they're playing corners in, Ridgeview is. This is a fastball taken for a strike. Good comeback pitch by Sproles to get it on the corner, and it's 0-1. It's really the most important thing after you give up a walk or a couple of walks in the inning. Right when you get back to that next guy, get a fastball across, and that's what he did as Haas took it. Here's the 0-1. This one's lifted down the left field line. If it's fair, it's going to be trouble, but it hits foul by about 10 feet. And we'll have to do it again. That one was way down the line, and the count moves to 0-2. That was a bases-clearing kind of shot that time. But
he was sitting on that pitch.
We'll see what he can do here, 0-2.
But now if you're a pitcher in this situation, yes, that's a long and nice hit there, but it's foul. So it's another strike. So if you're a pitcher right now, just
can't let it get to you.
Yeah. Your pitcher just another strike.
Last one we had to really lean into to watch was the Zach Griffith homer in the last game in that Southwest District Tournament final. Here's the 0-2. This one a swinging strike 3, and maybe Haas a little too eager to try to get an RBI. Chased one down and away. A good spot for that breaking pitch. And there's 2 outs in the inning and a big strikeout with the bases loaded as it'll bring Jared Mouse to the plate, the catcher for the Bearcats. And this is a big spot here. If you're Sproles, you can get out of this with limited damage. You had the bases loaded, 1 out, now 2 outs. As Mouse steps in, Bradley on deck. This one's lifted into right. Jones is there, and he makes the grab for the final out of the inning, and Ridgeview avoids a bases-loaded 1-out jam. The Cats go strikeout and then a fly out to right, and it's 1-0 Bearcats, but it could have been a lot worse.
And that's huge. That's extremely huge right there to get out of that with just giving up 1 run.
1 run, 2 hits for the Bearcats, but they leave the bases loaded. More importantly, they left them loaded with just 1 out, and they ended up getting out of the inning. So that's a lot of momentum for Ridgeview to try to get back into this thing as we head to the 2nd inning. And the Cats do have a 1-0 lead, but maybe a missed opportunity there.
It is, but I mean, I feel confident. Like, after that inning, if you're us, I'm pretty sure our kids feel confident right now. They missed one there, but I'm pretty sure they'll feel like they'll get it back in the next few innings.
So Zach Griffith back out on the mound, has a lead to work with as we take a look at the Virginia High defense. Let's go around the outfield from left to right. Dixon, Lathrop, and Medley. On the infield at third, Haas, Bradley at short, Davidson at second, Lewis at first. The battery made up of Zach Griffith on the mound and Jared Mouse guarding the dish back there for the Bearcats. And the weather has held up today. It's been raining all day.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, don't want to jinx it too much, but it has held up so far, and it's done pretty well for Memorial Day that we are going to be able to play a little baseball this afternoon. So definitely excited to be back here, and hopefully we got a few more games this week. These are elimination games, these first 2, and we talked about the pitch count and how much it matters. Well, Coach Daniels said he's going to try like heck to keep Zach under that. I don't know how many he's got right now, but
the big thing for us, unlike some other teams, we have 2 kids who can be like number 1 starters. So if he does go over the count, I guess you kind of need to watch what Dixon does the next day. But still, it's kind of a luxury to have.
Oh, yeah, definitely a luxury to have. We've got 2 arms. Most teams, we were talking about Lebanon, we're talking about Tazewell. Those teams kind of have 1 horse. We've got 2 guys that we can sort of lean to in important games, and really helps.
And even with the kids on the team, you're confident that you throw Dixon and Griffith out there. You're confident with that. And some of these other teams have one ace, and then when they throw anybody else out there, they're not confident.